Hey besties, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something I've been meaning to investigate properly for a long time. Many people seem to think that Jung Hae-in's relationship with So-min is more like best friends, while with Jisoo, it feels more romantic. I've heard so many people say that because Hae-in is so comfortable and playful around So-min, it just gives off best friend vibes. But then when he's with Jisoo, he's usually more shy and seems really attracted to her, which makes their interactions feel more romantic to a lot of people. But here's the thing. I think there's a common mistake people often make, and that's not understanding the difference between love and attraction. Being attracted to someone and loving someone are two very different things. So for this video, I didn't want to just base it on my own opinion. I decided to take a more structured approach. We're going to be looking at an article that breaks down the differences between love and attraction, and we'll compare that with Jung Hae-in's interactions with both So-min and Jisoo. By the end of this, we're gonna find out who Hae-in is truly in love with and who he might just be attracted to. Make sure to watch till the end because you're not going to want to miss what we uncover today. So for today's video, we're going to be looking at this article from marriage.com called Love versus Like, 25 differences between I love you and I like you. The article explains, the difference between like and love is hard to comprehend as each concept involves having feelings for another person. However, these concepts differ, and to decipher the feeling you have, you need to know the difference between like and love. Keep reading to understand like versus love properly. Irrespective of your feelings for someone, this article tells you where you stand. Is it like or love? So besties, let's get into it. We're going to break down the signs that reveal when someone simply likes a person versus when they love someone. Then we'll dive into Jung Hae-in's interactions with both So-min and Jisoo to see if we can spot any of these signs and figure out if it's like or love. Now the first sign in the article says, liking someone involves physical attraction. When somebody likes you, it doesn't extend beyond your physical appearance. They are attracted to the colors of your eyes or your body. But love extends beyond physical attraction. Somebody that loves you is also attracted to your soul. Their love for you includes who you are down to your core, not just your physical attributes. Love is profound and also includes the little things. For example, your partner will love your laugh and work ethic, and even just having you around. They love you for who you are, and not only how you look. Let's start by looking at the times Hae-in has talked about what he loves or likes about both So-min and Jisoo. First up, let's talk about Jisoo. In their Harper's Bazaar interview, when asked about their first impressions of each other, this is what Hae-in said.
봤을 때 되게 눈이 예쁘고 선하고 긍정적인 에너지가 넘치는.
He basically mentioned that he thinks her eyes are beautiful. In another interview, when asked again about his first impression, he said that when he first saw her, his heart fluttered. He also complimented her bright personality and her pretty smile. Now let's look at the times Hae-in talked about So-min. One of the most well-known moments was during their press conference. When asked about moments where his heart fluttered while filming with So-min, Hae-in said that his heart fluttered every time they filmed. He specifically mentioned that So-min's big, hearty laughter and smiles put him at ease. He went on to say how her smile disarms him and helps him overcome his usual shyness. Another great example is from their Salon Drip interview. When asked if this was his first time acting in a romantic comedy, Hae-in explained that most of his previous work had been in more melodramatic roles, and that he didn't have much experience with comedy. But he said that So-min helped lead him on set. He pointed out how she uses her body really well, probably because she majored in dancing, and that she's flexible, full of ideas, and knows how to blend seamlessly into the next scene. She uses the set as her stage, so I got a lot of help from her, Hae-in said. And let's not forget the heartfelt message he sent for So-min's fan meeting. He said, "The Jung So-min that I know, she is an actress with great character. She is pretty, but so is her personality. The way she treats and cares for others is also excellent, but furthermore, she is an amazing actress." So these are the moments I found where Hae-in talked about both Jisoo and So-min. If you know any other moments, feel free to share them in the comments. But now, let's compare these moments with the first sign from the article and see how they match up. Are his feelings for them based on attraction or love? When you look at how Hae-in complimented Jisoo, it's clear that his focus was mostly on physical attraction. He mentioned her beautiful eyes and how pretty her smile is. But when we look at how he talks about So-min, it's like this article could have been written by a Haesum shipper. The article says, "Your partner will love your laugh and work ethic." Hae-in literally said that So-min's big, hearty laughter makes his heart flutter and puts him at ease. In the Salon Drip interview, he couldn't stop talking about how good she is at what she does, how skilled and creative she is, and how much she helped him on set. The article also says, "They love you for who you are, not just how you look." And what did Hae-in say in his video letter to So-min? He said she's pretty, but he also made sure to point out that her personality is just as beautiful. I think the evidence speaks for itself. You can see the difference right there. Now, let's move on to the next sign. The second sign mentions that when you only like someone, it's easier to move on, and you might even start dating someone else just weeks after a breakup, unlike with someone you truly love. Now this one's a bit tricky because we don't actually know if Hae-in dated either of them, and we can't say for sure how he really feels. All we can do is look at his actions. So with that in mind, let's move on to the next sign. Obviously, this next sign is a bit hard to judge too. It talks about how when you like someone, it's mostly about sexual intimacy, but when you love someone, just spending time with them is enough. Again, we can't really tell with this one, so let's move on to the next sign. This next sign says, when you like someone, the effort you put into making them happy is limited. Instead, they are your source of happiness. You don't go out of your way to make them laugh. Rather, you are happy to be the center of attention. But when you love somebody, the spotlight shifts from you to them. You want to make them happy at the expense of your own happiness. So you aim to put a smile on their face regardless of the cost. Now, when trying to find moments where Jung Hae-in made So-min and Jisoo laugh, I didn't want to rely solely on their behind-the-scenes moments, because Love Next Door is a romantic comedy. So there's naturally going to be a lot of laughter on set, unlike Snowdrop. But when I looked at the behind-the-scenes of Snowdrop, I could see why Hae-in said Jisoo was bright. She was bubbly, and she was often the one making others laugh. Whereas in Love Next Door's behind-the-scenes footage, Hae-in and So-min were very playful with each other. Now let's look at their interviews. It's a similar pattern. In interviews, Hae-in was more on the quiet side, while Jisoo was bubbly and bright, and I couldn't really find moments where he was going out of his way to make her laugh. But with So-min, as I mentioned in one of my recent videos, Hae-in really seems to enjoy making her laugh. Like in this Melon interview, after making her laugh, he even did a fist pump, like he was celebrating the moment. So, based on what the article is saying, that if you love someone, you'll go out of your way to make them laugh. I think we can see that happening with Hae-in and So-min. Although Jisoo did say that he is funny and has a passion for showing his sense of humor, so I guess there were moments where he did try to make her laugh. Sign number 5 says, your attraction to somebody you like is probably because you think they are perfect. You have built up this image of them that might not be real in your head. You aren't curious to see what is under the surface. With love, you understand that the person is human and therefore imperfect. You also end up loving the imperfect parts of them. You will embrace their flaws and won't force them to change. Now, when it comes to Hae-in saying he's a blink, he might see Jisoo as perfect. Because let's be real, that's often how we view our idols. But I can't say for sure if he truly sees her in that light. As for So-min, there was a moment in their Ella interview when they were asked about habits they noticed in each other. Hae-in mentioned how every time So-min laughs, she makes this little grunting sound. Some people might see that as a flaw, but I think he found it cute. After all, he loves her laugh. That being said, I'm not gonna read too much into this one, since we didn't get a chance to hear about any of Jisoo's habits, in the same way we did with So-min. So let's move on to the next sign. This next sign pretty much seals the deal. The very thing people point to when they say Hae-in and So-min are just best friends, is actually the biggest indicator that they might be in love. Sign number 6 says, when you like someone, you get nervous and self-conscious around them. You're eager to leave an impression, even a false one. So when the person you like enters the room, you adjust your outfit and recheck your appearance to ensure you're perfect. But when you love someone, you're comfortable around them. You don't try to hide the real you from the person you love. You are an open book and won't pretend to be someone you're not. Likewise, if you're around the person you love, you won't try to hide your flaws from them. Honestly, I don't think I need to say much more here. We all know this is the main reason people think Hae-in and So-min are just friends, because they're so comfortable with each other. And it's obvious to everyone. With Jisoo, Hae-in is friendly and playful, but you can see he's a bit shy around her. His energy doesn't quite match Jisoo's bright, bubbly nature. But with So-min, it's a whole different story. Their energy is totally in sync. They're constantly playing around together. I mean, I don't even have to emphasize this, you've all seen it yourselves. That level of comfort is a major sign of love. And considering So-min is the only female co-star Hae-in is this comfortable with, well, that says a lot. Now, let's move on to the next sign. Sign number 7 says, liking someone is often love at first sight. You can feel an instant attraction for somebody you just met. You don't know anything about the person, so your attraction isn't based on their character or personality. Rather, it is based on what you see. Falling in love with someone, on the other hand, is not immediate, but takes time. With love, you won't be able to pinpoint when it started. A study reveals that men take at least 3 months to confess they love their partner, while women take about 5 months. So, let's take a look at how Hae-in described his first impressions of Jisoo and So-min. When Hae-in was asked about his first and current impressions of Jisoo, he said, at first sight, her eyes were beautiful, pure, and she has lots of positive energy. But now, Blackpink. He also mentioned that they both looked different from the drama shoot, so it felt a bit different. Now, looking at his first and current impressions of So-min, he shared that they first met at a formal meeting between their Love Next Door families, and it was very uncomfortable. They couldn't even make eye contact and would glance at each other sideways. But now, they're much more comfortable and close. You can clearly see the difference in his answers. With Jisoo, his first impression focused more on her beauty. But with So-min, he admitted it was uncomfortable at first, but over time, they became close. It seems like the bond he shares with So-min took time to build. It wasn't instant, whereas with Jisoo, it was more of a love at first sight reaction. Like, oh, she's beautiful. Alright, besties, I think I'll wrap things up here. The rest of the signs in the article either talk about things we can't really observe ourselves or are a bit repetitive. But for those of you who are curious, I'll leave a link to the article below. So there you have it, besties. Now, we're all a little more informed about the difference between liking and loving someone. And honestly, this has only made me more convinced that Hae-in and So-min are truly in love. What do you think, besties? Let me know in the comments. I'll be waiting to chat with you there.